Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is looking at quite a serious allegation that, if true, would mean Nigel Farage could have broken the law and potentially go to jail. Now that's a weird headline, right? That's a pretty big claim. And where it comes from is a tweet today by a lady called Catherine Blaiklock. Now Catherine Blaiklock was the founder and at one point leader of Brexit Party. She'd been with Nigel at UKIP, formed Brexit Party, and now has come out with some absolutely amazing claims that, if true, are very, very serious. So her tweet goes on to say, I gave my shares in the Brexit Party to Nigel Farage in a not-for-profit trust, i.e. a charity structure. Nigel Farage took those shares out of the trust and sold those shares for a lot of money to Zia Yusuf. That trust document is in a large solicitor's office in Norwich. Now, this might be massive if true. And the reason it could be massive is, if her claims are true, then Nigel Farage may have committed fraud. And there's a lot has to happen. I mean, what she's saying could be true, but still not be against the law. It's all down to how the trust agreement was set up. But let's just look at a couple of things. So, where are we? I'd looked into this. So, a bit of background. Catherine Blaiklock is a founder of Brexit Party. Alleges Nigel Farage has removed shares she placed in a non-profit trust and sold them to Zia Yusuf, who's now the Reform UK chairman, for significant profit, with the trust documents held in the Norwich law firm. The claim ties into political turbulence surrounding Brexit, where Blaiklock and Farage were key figures. Blaiklock resigned as Brexit Party leader in 2019 after controversial statements she made online, and Farage later led Reform UK, formerly the Brexit Party, because that's how Reform started. It was out of the ashes of the Brexit Party. So what she's claiming is she had shares in that. When she left, she's put them in a trust, and if this trust is, as she says it is, and set up, then this could have potentially devastating consequences for Farage. Now, I don't think it's a big secret that these shares were sold to Yusuf. But there's two possible recipients of that money. One of them could be Farage, which is a whole bag of worms. That's a whole different bag of worms. But the other could be Reform Party. The money might have went to them. Now, I don't know where the money went. However, I actually don't think it matters. Because if what she's saying is true, and if it's been set up in such a way where he has broken the law, it actually doesn't matter where the money's went. Whoever sold those shares is still breaking the law. Now, the allegation is about that this is key. It's all centres around this trust that she set up. And she alleges that he's removed them. And now, if he's been a trustee of this trust, he's legally bound to follow the letter of the agreements. Now, the letter of the agreement might not state that he can sell it for or without profit. There might not be any stipulation in how this agreement is set up. But if the trust was indeed set up for non-profit or charity, it would be subject to strict regulations under UK charity law, regulated by the Charity Commission. In trust law, a charitable trust must operate for charitable purposes, example, public benefit, and cannot distribute profits to individuals. I think that should also read or groups. If Farage removed those shares from the trust and sold them for personal or private gain, this could breach trust and charity laws unless explicitly permitted by the trustee or legal authority. If Farage was a trustee or had control over the trust, he would have had fiduciary duties to act in the best interests of the trust's beneficiaries, not for personal gain. Removing assets from the trust and selling them without authorisation could constitute a breach of trust, potentially leading to legal action for recovery of assets or damages. The UK's capital gains tax rules, as outlined, requires trustees to report and pay taxes on gains from selling trust assets. If the sale occurred and taxes weren't properly handled, this could raise other legal issues with HMRC. If Brexit stroke reform was established as a private limited company, as noted in the web results, transferring or selling shares in the PLC must comply with company law, Companies Act 2006, and the Company's Articles of Association. If the shares were in trust and removed improperly, this could violate corporate governance rules. So there's so many things that if this is true, there's so many laws that could have potentially been broken here. So the key questions are, was the trust properly established as a charity? If it was registered as a charity, any deviation from charitable purposes would likely be illegal without Charity Commission approval. If it wasn't registered as a charity but a private trust, the legalities depend on the trust deed's terms, and this is what she's claiming is in a lawyer's office in Norwich, specifically whether Farage had the authority to remove and sell the shares. If Blaiklock transferred the shares to a trust and appointed Farage as the trustee or beneficiary, his actions would need to align with the trust's terms, and if he acted without authority or breached the fiduciary duties, this also could be illegal. Was the sale to Zia Yusuf legitimate? If the shares were improperly removed from the trust, the sale to Zia Yusuf could be voidable and challenged in court. Additionally, if the sale involved undisclosed conflicts of interests, for example, Yusuf's role in reform, i.e. became the chairman, it might raise legal or ethical concerns under corporate or trust law. And a disclosure of transparency. Blaiklock's post mentions tagging major news outlets and Elon Musk, suggesting she believes this is a matter of public interest or potential misconduct. If the transaction wasn't disclosed properly, it could violate legal transparency requirements. So, what are the potential legal consequences? Breach of trust, charity law violations, corporate law issues, and tax implications, if this woman is right. The ex-post and web results don't provide the full trust deed details of the sale or legal requirements involved. Without access to these documents, it's impossible to definitely say whether the actions were legal or not. Or claims that the trust was not for profit and charity structure need verification. Many political organisations use trusts or companies, but not all are charitable under UK law. However, the fact that she's made this claim about the lawyers in Norwich would potentially show us that she took strong legal advice back then when these shares were put into this trust. And you can imagine she knows what's on that contract. So I think the next step is somebody has to go to this lawyer in Norwich, ask them for the document and present the document to the public. And if this lady is right, it could be very, very serious, not only for Nigel Farage. This could be very serious for the whole party, including Zia Yusuf. This whole story is getting madder by the hour. If you want other people to see this video, do three things, please. It will help push it into other people's timelines. Click the thumbs up button, leave a comment, click share, and put it into WhatsApp and X and whatever. If you've not already done so, please consider subscribing and hitting the notifications bell for the channel. But the most important thing of all, unless you're any part of any of this real darkness that's coming out of Reform UK at the moment, then not you, but everyone else, have a great day. Cheerio, bye now.